All right, look at how cute you look. Whew. What a lucky guy. You want a bottle of wine? I mean a glass of wine. I mean, you have a bottle.
Let's start with a glass. Or a pillar of spritz.
Maybe we can tell the story already, like why don't we have any wine glasses?
I don't know why. Because you didn't buy them in IKEA.
Exactly. Because every time we go to IKEA, we forget about it. And then we come home and it's like, maybe we should buy wine glasses now. I saw wine glasses at IKEA.
Even
like,
we didn't, we never wrote it in our shopping list.
So we have a shopping list. The thing is, I never write anything in it actually, or very rarely. So I kind of expect Marie to always write in it because like she's the boss at home. Whatever she wants, we get.
You know.
So.
Oh my god! You were not even thinking about it, no?
No.
A red shirt instead of white shirt. But why we are dressed today actually is because we are going to the wedding and we have to leave in 30 minutes. So this is why we already are dressed.
Cheers to that.
Alright. Hello Innovatology Nation!
Hello Innovatology Nation! It's a new concept we're going to introduce.
Yes.
Wine and tech.
Innowine.
What?
Innowine.
Innowine. Yeah, actually I kind of like it.
Innowine.
Innowine. I was like, what does that even mean? Innowine. I like it. So the idea is I talk about like new innovations, new technologies, while enjoying a glass of wine ourselves, keeping it real,
Yes.
enjoying ourselves, while at the same time hoping that you enjoy it as well. So today we're drinking the nice little wine from Bordeaux, a Charme de...
What do you need to read?
Charme de... Joro?
Charme de
Toro?
Toro.
Joro?
Toro.
Charme de Joro or Toro
Toro.
de Le Sac Saint-Emilion, appellation Le Sac Saint-Emilion contrôlé. So it's a wine which is a combination of Merlot, Cabernet Franc et Cabernet Sauvignon, which in other words means it's a good wine. From
Peut-être on peut parler français pendant notre Innowine, hein?
Peut-être, mais pas tout le temps, tu vois. C'est déjà vraiment dur pour parler de technologie, sur technologie.
Tu penses nous
Et
avons
de boire du
notre audience en français? Notre audience est anglais, non?
Our audience is English, yes, I think so. So let's just talk Innowine in English.
Oui.
Let's keep it like that. Let's keep it real. So I also love like how Marie has made our setup really work. We made our little studio now at home. I think everything has been built. So
Yeah, but it's still like a really alternative. I still don't know how one light works because it's apparently should make our hair beautiful. It's heavy on one side because it's above us, so whoever will touch the cable, then we have a light on our head. So let's see if we will be enlightened today.
So let's not do that.
I have a game.
You have a game.
Yes.
What kind of game? I'm always into games.
I will give you 5 seconds. And
Usually you give me a bit more. A little bit. No? Like 10?
5 seconds to answer.
Alright,
Okay.
got it. Fire.
Yes. Wait, I have to be also prepared.
I'm ready.
What is the last innovation you heard about?
What? Lost. I feel like, wow, this is. I thought it was gonna be easy questions.
Okay.
You need to prepare me for this kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much I read this week. I got it. But like, you have to ask it again because I have to
Okay.
think. Okay.
So, are you prepared for my question?
Now I am.
So, what was the last innovation you heard about? You have 5 seconds to answer it.
So in our breweries, in breweries we have monitors, and we're tracking real time the energy consumption in the breweries, which then flips on the screen of operators to ensure that operators are first-hand responsible for the energy consumption in a brewery. I think that's amazing because it puts the ownership of how products are made in the hands of the people that are actually on the shop floor. It's not like executive managers just talking on spreadsheets, but actually giving the power to the operators.
Nice. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was one of my colleagues that talked about it, but I was actually really impressed with actually the goal that we want to reach with that, because I do think that the people that know the most about how things are working most effectively, being able to really intervene in the moment, are the people on the shop floor. They deserve our respect, but they also deserve the tools to be able to work with information.
Yeah, this is really important. I think also interesting. I saw something similar. It was in the innovation center of P&G when I was invited for the innovative roundtable. Actually gave us a tour to go into the innovation center, and then they show us what they are actually using to innovate their products, and actually how the customers are using their products. Because when you are thinking about different products, it can be beer, it can be, for example, washing powder, which you're using is in your wash machine,
Or
wine or anything else. And you think about all of the people who actually touch it, from the production to the shop floor to even the customers at the end. You can actually make the innovation. And in this sense, you can make innovation for the different kind of users, even like for the people who are actually recommending the product, so how they should recommend it, or even for the customers, how they are using it. And it was this innovation center was mainly for the customers, and they, for example, in this sense, they were focusing on European customers, and they built a house which was simulation of a kitchen, of a laundry room, and also of the shop, where actually they
of the laundry room. So how much of the things that you've seen there have you brought home already for us to try out?
Just one thing, like I get a gift, of course, while being there, but
are we buying stuff from there already or not yet?
From P&G?
Yeah, from like the P&G Innovation Center that you've seen there. Are we buying some things already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also like, actually I saw it in Croatia, that my mom bought it. Indeed, it's already in circulation. They also show us it's a product where actually you have to open it like this, which is against children. Actually, that the children will not use the products for the
difficult carton.
Yeah, the difficult carton, but they actually make it people with different illnesses, they can still open it, but it was against the child.
It was super difficult to open.
But what was also interesting that they said that washing dishes is different in Europe and in US, and without actually having this innovation center. Yes.
Wash on.
But yeah, I was interested in what is actually the difference between them. But of course, it's their know-how, in the sense like that they are focusing on the different markets of how the Americans are different from, for example, Europeans, and how we are washing dishes differently. It can also be maybe that Americans don't wash the dishes. I don't know. Like they also eat a lot in the restaurants, right?
So that was question 1.
Yes.
Is question 2 going to be easier?
I didn't have more questions.
I thought it was a game.
Yeah, it's a game, but then it's now going from your side,
so
right?
now it's my turn to ask a question. Okay.
For the question number 2.
For the question number 2. Who got the best tech gift for their birthday?
You.
What? You got a drone.
I know, but I'm still not sure if it was the gift for you or for me.
It's a gift for us. No, it was your gift, because I know that you like to film stuff, but I still need to teach you how to use it.
Yes,
that is true.
Yes, we have to use it actually.
Yeah,
start to use it.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to, because for my birthday I got a drone. He got a Remarkable, but the drone, we wanted to use it for the first time in Mont Saint Michel when we were there for my birthday, where I also got the gift. But the problem was that it was like super windy, and the drone is quite light. So
I don't think that was the main problem, though.
What do you think? Because
we bought the wrong batteries.
Yeah, this was also. But I would be scared to use it there. You bought the wrong batteries.
I did not buy the wrong batteries. I bought the right batteries that were indicated on the instruction manual. But when you opened the box with the drone inside, it was double X. But on the paper, it's a triple X. So, was I wrong? Was the paper wrong? God knows. I mean, the drone is actually quite nice. Like, I think once we start really using it, it will be worth the price that we paid for it. But we just have to, start figuring it out because it's an idea.
Yes.
But it's really cool. To understand how it works. For me, it's the first time I have a drone, or I bought a drone. So for me to start it up was also like really weird. So it comes like really compact. It comes really compact, and it's also like spread out like this. So I thought like, okay, I'll start it like this. But apparently, and this I only figured out after like banging it 3 times, is the wings first need to clap open in the right way. Manually. Indeed. Because I would have expected actually that to happen automatically, but you need to do it manually and then you can start it. So, how not to use a drone? I mean, fair enough. My present was maybe better. Like, it was a remarkable. I do think it was an amazing present that Marie gave me for my birthday. I didn't have to prime it at all for like, I think half a year, where I said like, I think a remarkable would be super cool.
Even more than half a year, because first time you saw it in Norway in December 2022.
Not like that, that's half...
8 months.
8 months. Because we were dating for like, what, 10 months? Yeah, your eyes like, almost a year. What the fuck am I doing? So, bit of a funny story about these ducks. We found them in Dubrovnik. We bought them because Marie asked me to tell her a bedtime story.
Again?
And I couldn't figure anything else out except that she's a pig. I mean, from her Chinese zodiac.
If you don't know, Cedric is half Belgian, half Chinese. This is why sometimes we are referring to the Chinese zodiac in Chinese culture. Where I will also speak about on our Innovatology Instagram about the unboxing of the big box that actually arrived.
Unboxing of the big box.
Yeah, the one that I shared. That I shared on my story.
Nobody knows what it is.
And now you know that it's not a drone. So now either it's the studio lights or the Buddha.
I have another question for you. Artificial intelligence or
speak to me dirty.
Robotics.
Both are going hand by hand together because artificial intelligence will be really helping the robotics world. However, I feel that, for example, in artificial intelligence, now it's a big boost and we are really getting forward more than, for example, in robotics. Robotics still we are talking about, we are seeing it in the showrooms. We can also have, for example, the robots at home, such as a vacuum cleaner, etc. But it's not really the robotics that we are talking about or what you would imagine behind the robotics when you ask the question, right? So I think that the artificial intelligence will play the main game where the robots will be to some extent independent from people.
Okay, but like here's the question, like which one will be dominating our daily lives? Like, because you mentioned in it, like we have like a robot vacuum cleaner.
That's it.
Oh, we have more stuff. I mean, robot-wise, I mean, okay, that's the only robot that we actually have. But like, still, which one will dominate our lives more? Like,
but I mean, what is actually a robot for you, right? Because for me, robot can be even mixer to some extent.
Yeah, but exactly, like a mixer for me is a robot. For me, also the Dyson is a robot. The Google screen for me is also more robots.
But for me, it's really so far robotics for a consumer perspective and also for the business to some extent. It's really not powered by the artificial intelligence, and this is the main disadvantage so far, because you, for example, need to teach the vacuum cleaner where to go, what to not do, and it's not independent from the user. Whereas when you will reach the point of the artificial intelligence to some extent, so for example, when we take the Tesla cars, they will be self-driven because it will be powered by the artificial intelligence, and it's already getting there. step by step.
So like artificial intelligence is more like a source for a robot to be more effective as well.
Yes.
Like it's not artificial intelligence is not only for humans to be more effective, but also for our robots that we leverage to be more effective.
Yeah, to give them also power of the decision making at some extent, right? To like make the decisions without actually human putting, for example, to the vacuum cleaner play. Like they will be able to assess how the floor is dirty and where they should, for example, clean, whereas where they should not, to sustain the energy.
Yeah, I remember that was also like one of the things when we bought the Dyson, you know, you had like the measurements of like, okay, this amount of like particles, this amount of dust, this amount of sugar molecules, allergens. But it actually didn't give an indication of the amount of dust that I just collected. Is it, let's say, bad for the space that I cleaned or not?
Or in comparison with other days. So, for example, I want to know that my home is cleaner during the winter than, for example, during the summer. Or I want to see, for example, if you have a smart scale, you can see like how your actually weight is
decreasing,
ideally. And this I would like to see also in, for example, Dyson, which we bought, and then we actually thought that we will be able to see in our application the history of the particles and the allergens. However, it's not there. Also, they told us in the shop that the application is quite cool, but then
the application is quite basic. So I think Dyson still a lot of things to do for you.
Yeah, and this is the problem that I see in the world of innovations, that the businesses don't drive the innovations that much as, for example, the Elon Musk is doing.
But why don't you think they do it? Because like I work in a corporate environment, and I mean I have an idea about it. But why do you think that indeed like companies don't take the next step in the innovation that can actually give an added value to their devices?
For me, it's just they have a lot of resources. They need to also like expense a certain money to actually get optimized taxes, etc. But it seems to me that the leaders behind the big corporations or big businesses are, let's say, already comfortable with the revenue that they are having, and that they are not thinking more forward, that they are not having the values for like driving the innovation. And usually like people, when they reach the certain value of their business, they just get comfortable and to some extent also lazy, or they, for example, then it plays, I think, a lot of lifestyle and go to some like hazards, or like depending also who you are as a leader at the end.
Yeah, but I think I do understand what you're saying, and that's also where I think it's important to do some career changes from time to time, not just, let's say, for other people also to grow, but also for yourself. Like keep going out of that comfort zone, because whatever you have been doing for the past X amount of years, it's not been a bad job. At some point in that position, you get comfortable with doing what you think is easiest to do. It's not necessarily always the best thing to do for, let's say, the broader picture, but it's what you're comfortable to doing. And that's why like you always need to also challenge yourself. Look at your cycles in a corporate life. Define for yourself, like at this stage I usually get comfortable. Then it's also good for you to switch, even when you're not a person that likes change a lot. Like it's still important for yourself within your position to understand that like it's not that you're not doing a good job. It's just that like someone else might do it differently and has a different perspective on things, because they come with a new set of eyes.
Yeah.
You've literally been staring at the same problem maybe for like 5 months, but it doesn't catch your eye anymore.
But this is also like when you have the big corporation, it's driven by the employees, but the employees want to be employees because they have, let's say, the stable income, they have the stable position. And as you said, when you reach the certain level or the certain position in your employment, then you are just comfortable where you are because you already have kids. There is not a lot of, for example, changes. And the innovation is usually not coming from the leaders, because actually the budget, the main budget and the main navigation is coming from the top leaders, who is actually the leader of the AB InBev, and then the trigger like to innovate the whole industry has to come from there. I mean, like as an employee, you can try to innovate in your department, in your certain scope, However, you will not change the whole chain.
No, because like I mean, depending on where you are, it's still like a drop in the ocean.
And this is where I see Elon Musk is really interesting from the point of innovation, because I don't know a lot of leaders who would just take all of their energy and who would really innovate the whole industry as such. Because usually it seems to me that the people who reach the certain value, the certain revenue, they just get comfortable. They just live on Bali or somewhere, and
That's true. That reminds me, actually, like
you want to go to Bali?
yes, I mean this year we're going to Asia already quite enough, so maybe in a couple of years, but we're still waiting to get in touch with Elon. So we still need to get there.
But you can get excited also about innovations, especially in Singapore and other different countries in Asia.
That's true. I'm actually gonna be very curious what we're going to see in Asia, because when we were in Vivatech in Paris, a lot of the innovation was actually coming from Asian countries. Like Japan was there, Taiwan was there, Korea was there, India was there. A lot of innovation is coming from there because, I mean, if you would like it or not, majority of the population is currently right there. Like more than 40%, I think, of the human population is centralized in Asia. So it's gonna be a very interesting time. I think we're gonna see some super cool things. But coming back to a bit of technology, what has been the most interesting electrical vehicle you've been able to drive in the past couple of weeks?
You are giving me questions and navigating me to the answers that you want to hear.
No, I am just trying to phrase the question in a sense that I do not want to give you the answer, but be
My
careful.
e-bike.
What? Okay, no, your e-bike.
No, I have to admit that I didn't ride a lot of e-vehicles.
But we have two e-vehicles.
Yeah, but
week.
it's recently, and I think that
know.
both of them are really amazing. There are a lot of bugs in it still, because Cedric recently got from Borg a Volvo, 100% electric car, and it's the first 100% electric vehicle that I ever have been in.
Wait, the one of one of your parents is hybrid.
Yes,
Yeah.
I drove a hybrid before, but I also recently bought an electric bike.
Really cool bike, super amazing.
Yeah, the best on the market in 2023.
Which is
Flyer.
question mark. It's the Flyer Go Tour Upstreet 7.23. What up?
Yes, dumbass, small, 630 watt hour and a 95 Newton
Meter.
meter.
Yes. So what do you like about your bike?
The shape.
I thought you were gonna say something about like the technology, like you have like the really nice dashboard. You're able to like, I mean, she has like on her bike, there's like a handle on the right which can make a guy go like up a hill, which basically indicates whether the engine needs to turn on more to provide additional assistance or less assistance. But you like the shape.
I mean, by me, I am coming from non-bike.
All this
country, right?
technology. True, yeah.
I'm coming from non-bike country, so for me, like bike was on the village, like riding a really shitty bike from your grandmother, and like usually going just around in the circles. And we don't use bikes for transportation. Like, I mean, there are some bike enthusiasts, but I have to say that in Czechia, to have a bike, it's quite dangerous.
Yes, I agree.
So when I arrived here, I just got totally in love with bike environment, with bike industry, and how easy it is. Of course. And how easy it is to actually transport yourself in Brussels. And now even I put it. And now I put it even on a higher level in Antwerp, where I feel even safer than in Brussels riding a bike.
I'll cheers to that.
Yes. But speaking about innovation,
yes.
Last year I was coordinating the European Development Days on behalf of the European Commission, And there I had the pleasure to speak actually with a girl who is actually taking care about sustainable transportation in both worlds. I don't want to say in developed and developing country because it's no longer relevant, but let's say on African continent, but also in European, where actually there is a really big disbalance that, for example, some in some cities in Africa, you don't have a lot of vehicles because they don't have a roads built yet. Whereas here in Europe, we sometimes have even one car per capita. So even like Czechia is a really like car country because we have Skoda. So we really have one car per capita. But I think that the statistics will be also somewhere different. We can also explore it after. But it's really interesting the disbalance, and they actually find out that from the point of sustainable transportation, that you are thinking like about hydrogen, etc. That actually maybe it's not the time sometimes to go to the higher levels, that everybody should switch to the hydrogen vehicles, but rather to incorporate the level down, and that everybody would have just bikes. And they would keep, for example, one car per household for like longer distances, or for example for groceries if necessary, for bigger families, etc. But it's something she told me really interesting, because in innovations sometimes to get also level down to the innovation is also better, not only for the climate change but also more comfortable for the people themselves.
Yeah, and at the same time it will still accelerate that innovation, because then it has the momentum to keep on going and the hurdle is lesser. Because, for example, I do think an e-bike is a lot more user-friendly than an electric car at the moment, because for me, like, still the biggest hurdles of using an electric car are price of the electricity and the time to charge.
Whereas you can say how much is the...
Yeah, I paid 20 euros at least for 100 kilometers. Just for a point of reference, like the electronic car can go like 400 kilometers or 600 kilometers these days, which is an amazing distance. But to charge it, I think you would pay like for 400, 500 kilometers, like 100 euros. The analogy with a diesel car is, okay, you could still pay like 100 euros for a full tank, but it gives you 1,000, 1,100 kilometers, which is double.
And also the comfort to actually tank.
Yeah, the speed of filling up the gas or the battery is also different, right? Like filling up the gas of a diesel, like filling up the engine of a diesel car, I don't know, 5 minutes, yes, maybe. Filling up a full tank or battery of an electric vehicle, fast charge, I think you can get there quite fast, let's say like in half an hour or 1 hour, to 80%. And then the rest goes slower. But like, we just charged our car downstairs in the garage through the normal socket, and it took 20 hours to go from 50 to 95%.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I like it, I love it. I actually really enjoy driving the car. I think it's a better experience than I anticipated. But I think really to get the mass, to get accustomed to electric cars, there are still steps to take. But it's cool to now be part of the movement of the wave. But I still want to know like what's next, because we were talking about it actually also with some friends after work on Friday. A diesel or a gasoline car, it's still going to be easier to buy that secondhand, because I mean, you'll always be able to tank. But like an electric car, what's the sustainability plan of the battery? How do you replace the battery? That plan, if I'm honest towards myself, I haven't researched it yet, but I do think that there are some challenges with it, you know, like also with our phones, like it's quite challenging to replace a battery of a phone. So how will that happen with a car?
Yeah, so some technical issues.
We're talking about
because somebody didn't charge our microphones.
We're two in our family, so we're not going to point fingers.
It's my fault.
It's nobody's fault. Honestly, I get the ick of like, it's my fault. Like, it's nobody's fault. We both try and do our best.
I will just put you context on this, okay?
What's the context? Please enlighten us.
My parents, they have happy marriage, and they have a happy marriage because
Don't we have a happy relationship?
and they have, and they have a happy marriage because they actually signed the pre-marriage contract where it's written that all of the things
Your dad signed that?
yes, that all of the faults are going towards my dad.
I'm not signing anything like that.
And
I am not putting
all
my
of the
name.
faults are my father's, so that they don't need to argue.
He signed a contract
Yes,
detailing that.
yes.
Oh shit. There's no way I'm gonna sign that.